The periodic table, 118 elements that build our world. They shape the air we breathe, the metal in our blood, the devices we hold, and the stars above. But among these innocent-looking boxes lie something darker. Silent killers, atomic assassins, veiled behind symbols and numbers. They have no conscience, no remorse, just an unrelenting will to destroy. They've claimed emperors, warriors, scientists, and they're not done yet. I'm your guide through this crimson laboratory of death, where science meets suffering. Together, we'll peel back the curtain on these elemental executioners. We'll explore not just what kills you, but how it feels to die by the most dangerous substances ever discovered. This is Crimson Dynasty's descent into the dark side of chemistry. A journey into elemental doom. Polonium-210, the assassin's perfect weapon. Tasteless, odorless, virtually untraceable. In 2006, Russian dissident Alexander Litvinenko took a sip of tea infused with this isotope and unknowingly began a slow, merciless descent into a 3-week hell. At first, the symptoms mimic common food poisoning, vomiting, diarrhea, weakness. But this is no ordinary illness. This is alpha radiation, launched from within. His body, in desperation, tries to purge the poison. Then comes hair loss in horrifying clumps. The burning in his throat isn't metaphorical. It's like drinking broken glass, tearing him apart from the inside out. His organs fail, one by one, as polonium shreds his cells with microscopic violence. Morphine offers no sanctuary. The pain is too deep, too primal. In his final days, Litvinenko remained conscious, aware, as his body disintegrated, piece by agonizing piece. A man trapped in a crumbling vessel, waiting for death's final mercy. This wasn't an assassination. It was a slow-motion execution. Dimethylmercury. Death in a single drop. When world-renowned chemist Karen Vetterhan spilled a few microlighters on her gloved hand, she had no idea she'd signed her own death sentence. The glove wasn't enough. The compound seeped through, and then, nothing. No symptoms, no warnings, just silence. For months it lingered unseen, crossing the blood-brain barrier like a phantom. Then the terror began. Trembling hands, slurred speech, tunnel vision, confusion. Dimethylmercury doesn't just kill, it dismantles. Neuron by neuron, memory by memory. Her cerebellum, the brain's command center for coordination, was ravaged. Eventually, she could no longer walk, or speak, or swallow. She became a prisoner inside her own body, mentally alert, but physically paralyzed. Her final days were spent in stillness, her mind intact, her flesh failing. Death came slowly, methodically, like a thief stealing her piece by piece until only silence remained. Chlorine trifluoride, not a poison, but an inferno in a bottle. This compound doesn't just ignite, it devours. It burns things that shouldn't burn. Concrete, asbestos, the human soul. Exposure isn't an event, it's a detonation. Pain floods the body as it rips through flesh, muscle, bone. Contact with skin sets off a chain reaction of horror. Moisture, normally a source of life, becomes fuel, making the fire more vicious. Water doesn't save you. It feeds the flames. Breathing in its fumes floods your lungs with hydrofluoric acid. You choke, gasp, collapse, your respiratory system disintegrating from the inside. Screams die in a froth of blood and acid. Even in death, the body continues to burn. During the Cold War, scientists abandoned it, not because it failed, but because it worked too well. A compound so dangerous even weapons designers called it uncontrollable. One chemist described it best: it's hypergolic with every known fuel. And some things that aren't even fuel, like people. Hydrogen fluoride, the acid that stalks you. Unlike other acids that attack instantly, HF is patient. A drop on your skin feels like nothing. Hours later, the true nightmare begins. Deep, bone-crushing pain takes hold. The acid doesn't just burn, it infiltrates, silently slipping through skin into your bloodstream. There, it begins its most terrifying trick: stealing calcium. Your bones begin to dissolve. Your heart begins to flutter. Without calcium, your body collapses at the cellular level. In 2012, an Australian worker was splashed with HF. Doctors amputated his leg, hoping to stop the spread. It wasn't enough. The acid had already moved through his bloodstream, initiating a systemic collapse. You can cut off a limb, but you can't cut off death once HF is inside you. Botulinum toxin, the deadliest substance ever discovered by humankind. A single kilogram could kill every person on Earth. Yet death begins with the gentlest signs: blurry vision, a dry mouth, slurred words. Then paralysis creeps in like a shadow. It starts small, drooping eyelids, a frozen face. You try to call for help, but no words come. Your voice is locked inside. You try to move, but nothing responds. The paralysis continues downward, taking your limbs, your breath, your hope. When your diaphragm stops, your mind remains fully awake. You can't scream, can't gasp. You suffocate in slow motion, conscious, silent, powerless. This isn't death by violence. This is death by stillness. Cesium, a silvery metal that reacts explosively with water. And since the human body is mostly water, you already know how this ends. Touch it, and cesium erupts in a flash of violence. Steam explosions shred tissue, muscles rupture, bones shatter. The chemical reaction creates cesium hydroxide, a substance so caustic it burns through layers of flesh in seconds. The pain is so intense that victims often pass out almost instantly. Those who've survived partial exposures describe it as being shot and burned alive at the same time. There's no elegance to cesium's violence, just raw, chaotic destruction. It doesn't poison you, it obliterates you. Thallium, the poisoner's poison. Odorless, tasteless, slow, perfect for political enemies and personal betrayals. At first you think you have the flu, stomach cramps, nausea, fatigue. But then your hair falls out, in patches. Your fingers tingle, your limbs burn from within. The pain becomes unbearable, a searing fire inside your nerves. You lose your appetite. Your body begins to starve itself. You can't see clearly. You can't think straight. In the final phase, psychosis sets in. You hallucinate. You scream at things that aren't there. Your brain, poisoned beyond repair, turns against you. Saddam Hussein reportedly used thallium to erase his enemies slowly. So slowly, they didn't realize they were dying until it was far too late. Thallium doesn't kill fast. It makes you watch. Plutonium, an element that doesn't occur naturally, but its effects are all too real. Inhale just a particle, barely visible, and it lodges deep in your lungs, where it begins a lifelong assault. You don't feel it right away. You may never know it's there, until it's too late. Alpha particles hammer your DNA from within, non-stop, day after day. Your cells mutate, cancers bloom, your immune system collapses, blood production ceases, your lungs fill with fluid. You slowly fade, not in an explosion, but in decay. This isn't death in a moment. It's death by attrition, a microscopic war fought within your body. And you're just the battlefield. These elements, nature's most sinister masterpieces, don't just end lives. They compose symphonies of suffering, each one a note in humanity's darkest requiems. They've executed monarchs, silenced whistleblowers, and taught us that sometimes the most horrifying killers aren't beasts or blades, but invisible particles, silent and patient. In the great saga of human history, the most terrifying deaths aren't always the ones you see coming. They're the ones you never even knew began. Join the dynasty for more unfiltered deep dives into history's fiery secrets. Like, subscribe, and share. Remember, the past isn't dead. It's just waiting to roar.